The process over the last 3 months have been pure chaos, but in the most enjoyable, educational way. We had students who pitched original ideas dating back to early February, where they pitched to me, Matt Carden from the Career Center, and Dr. Katie Burakowski of the Sport Management Program. The three of us represented Netflix, and since then, my students have been working nonstop on creating this original series designed for Netflix.
Mac's a guy from New York City, and he has a mom that really in his business. He graduated from NYU, and he did well in school, but he never did anything. And when he went to look for a job, he didn't have anything. His mom helped him out and got him this job up in Verge, Vermont.
McAllister, honey, it's your first day of real work at the station.
He's this big New York City guy and comes to this tiny little town. He's got to deal with all that happens, the changes in his life. Trying to find himself, really. Trying to figure out how to start his life.
And this is the man of the morning and evening, Paul Bach, our expected new lead anchor. Paul, this is Mac.
Great to meet you, Mac.
So when it comes to the station, The Verge, he is the big shot, not only around the station, but he's the big shot around town. Pretty confident in himself and his abilities. He's pretty sure that he's gonna land this lead anchor job.
Fred, an older guy, he's been a producer at The Verge, the station, for about 20 years or so. He's kind of a cocky jerk. He's got a dry sense of humor. He likes to think that he's like the boss around the station, when in reality, no one really seems to give him too much respect.
Where is Miss Montgomery? She's supposed to be doing the weather in 3.5 minutes. Why did I even hire her?
It's so much easier to write like drama than comedy.
Yeah.
And trying to be funny is so much harder than actually being funny. Trying to like write that down on a page, and so when you're sitting at the table reading, you write something that was funny, people laugh at it. It's really rewarding because you feel like, hey, maybe we can actually do this.
Some of the character developments,
I think that was the hardest.
That was the hardest. It took the longest amount of time too. Certain characters, just trying to get into their heads as to like how they're going to interact with other characters or how they're going to speak. Are they going to be funny? Are they going to be serious? Are they going to be anxious? So that was the most challenging, I think, by far.
And also just like figuring out what exactly they're gonna say in every scene, because you know everything they say like makes a huge difference.
There's a lot to interpret with the script. We have direction written on there for the actors, but it is really up to the director as well as the showrunner to decide how we want these lines presented. It was very enjoyable working with Julia and Tom. They're great writers. They have great ideas. The show itself, I think, will go great working with Nick as director and me as showrunner, since we kind of have the same ideas about how we want this to look.
My biggest responsibilities as director is to ensure that we have enough coverage of every shot and that the actors are guided in a way that, as students, they can be believable characters. Having somebody like that, who I've been kind of in tune with since day one, is fantastic. There's a seamless transition there, and there's never a lack of communication. Mike, as assistant director, is also fantastic. You need somebody there who can not only follow directions, but who can also have a mind for their own and see potential problems. Because the one thing that you need to make sure in every shoot is that there's no continuity break between different shots.
My biggest responsibility is to make sure that the director, Nick Millard, has nothing to worry about when he's on set. So I make sure I have all the background stuff situated. I've been mostly carrying a boom mic, handling situations that arrive on scene.
I help set up shots. I mean, I work mostly with Nick. Nick actually was really, really helpful. He made my job a lot easier. I had an idea and he had an idea too, so we kind of worked together. And it's just setting up the different shots, making the camera angles, looking at the camera, making sure it's just perfect, because as you know, different camera angles convey different meanings. And it's a little bit of post-production, just making sure that all the shots are okay and stuff like that.
As production designer, I'm responsible for making all the sets look authentic and organizing all the different props and putting them into place so that everything looks realistic and not like it was just posed or that people were told to stand that way. So it looks natural. At Rob Meacham's house when we shot, I had to make sure his apartment looked authentic, and there was nothing that was Fisher related in there. As wardrobe designer, it's my responsibility to make sure that all the costumes look the way that they're supposed to for people who would be in Vergennes, what a farmer looks like, what he would wear, and what a hippie would look like, and so on, so it looks authentic.
My main job is basically scheduling the shoots and where we're going to do them, what time. I have a list of 20 students that are in our class and all of their schedules, from what time they have class, what time they work, what time they do sports schedules. So basically I use that to create a list of times that everyone, especially our actors and our director, are available to figure out where and when we are going to shoot.
My biggest responsibility as a producer is really just to have a hand in a little bit of everything, making sure our actors are all set, our budgeting, our script, making sure the production is on track and moving in the right direction.
I had a pretty general good idea of the Rochester area and had some ideas already in mind. A couple of times I went out and took pictures of locations and combined them all with some scenes that we thought would work pretty well. Got all those pictures together, put them in a Google Doc and shared them with the class.
I am very pleased with the cast of the show. I think everyone in the cast has qualities that will match, or at least try to match, their characters. I really like especially Alan playing Fred. I think that that's going to be really fun. Rob is a great actor. He will make a great mentor as Paul. And I think Rob will do a very good job as Mac as well. Rob has that kind of look to him where he might be a college student from New York City, and I think he can develop that well.
When you do a student project, especially in a school like St. John Fisher, we're not all bred to be natural actors. I've done films in the past that you just see, it's hard to ever break that mentality that, hey, this is a student, this is one of my friends, how is this a believable character? They do a really great job of personifying their character bios. I've never seen somebody so comfortable between Rob Sweet and Rob Meacham, two people so comfortable with their new roles and really living it.
Working with Alan Thomas, well, let me tell you, he's definitely a buddy of mine. When me and him get together, it's like, let the laughs start rolling. I mean, joke after joke, and sometimes, you know what, we think it's the funniest thing in the world. Sometimes I bet other people are like, man, these guys are a couple goofballs.
Rob Sweet's a great guy. You know, it's the Rob and Robs. We're gonna this dynamic's really fun, and Rob's got that really warm voice, but at the same time, he can give it to you. He can be harsh and make you feel small, and I think that really works in between our two characters. I can really become Mac and feel inferior to this character. When he puts on that tie and puts on that suit, he just becomes this anchor, becomes this character of this town that everyone knows, and he's easy to look up to.
The way the show has been filmed, it has a very cinematic quality about it, where it doesn't look like your traditional sitcom, where you have 3 cameras set up on a soundstage and an audience laughing behind them. Instead, we have an actual filmmaker in the form of Nick Millard, our director, who's putting this together, who's responsible for this visual aesthetic, where it looks, again, very cinematic, but it also has the same kinds of tropes, the same kind of sense of humor, the same kinds of jokes that you would find in a traditional comedy that you would find on broadcast TV, cable, or even streaming for that matter.
I take a lot of time editing. I wanted a product that I'd want to watch, especially in today's day and age with like YouTube and stuff. You need to make a product that you know people will want to watch, will want to share, will want to talk about, and that's how I want our product to be. I want The Verge to be great. I want it to be as close to perfection as possible, and I want people to be talking about it. The Verge is going to be great. I know it will be. It's a great show. When I'm watching it, as I'm editing it, I'm laughing to myself, and I've seen the jokes multiple times. So if I'm having a great time watching it, I know the audience will. This show is perfect for the Netflix model because it has that perfect edge that Netflix needs. It's not too clean slate, like it's not like a series you'd see on NBC. We're not afraid to go a little bit over the edge.
You see definitely a lot of different styles that are coming into this, whether it's the comedy style, which Netflix doesn't have, but you also see the Netflix language now being portrayed by our actors. and you have the mature content that Netflix would want coming out of the Verge now.
I am looking forward to seeing the finished product of the scene, to see what Nick does with the directing of it. I think that some of these scenes can be done many different ways, and it will be really exciting to see the words on a page come to life.
I'm mostly looking forward to seeing our finished product on the big screen. I'm looking forward to seeing all the reaction from the crowd. My friends are going to be coming. I'm looking forward to seeing them laugh.
Welcome to the Verge.
Ready to pop your Vergen's cherry?
Let's do it.
Let's go.